It is 5:30. I'd like to declare the General Committee meeting of Monday the 13th of July 2026 open. In accordance with the Local Government Act of 1993, Cowra Council is recording and live streaming this meeting and will upload the recording to Council's website. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being live streamed and recorded and having this recording published in the public domain. Please ensure that when you speak at council meetings you are respectful to others, use appropriate language at all times. Cowra Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Wiradjuri people, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. I have apologies from Councillors Horton and Cave. Would someone like to move that those apologies be accepted? Thank you, Councillor Downing. And Councillor Fagan. Thank you. Councillor Downing? Councillor Fagan? Anyone else wish to comment? Right, a reply, Councillor Downing, not required. I'll pass a motion. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Pass, thank you. Councillors and staff, please indicate in relation to any interest you need to declare. A, what report or item you are declaring an interest in. B, whether the interest is pecuniary or non-pecuniary, and what is the nature of that interest. Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to declare a non-pecuniary interest in item 5.2. I've previously liaised with the applicant on compliance matters regarding this location, but it was all prior to the DA being worked on, so I will stay in the room.
Okay. Councillor Kiss.
Mr Mayor, I will declare an interest in item 5.1, a pecuniary interest, as I own a property in West Cowra. This is for the planning proposals for the Cowra LEP. I will leave the chamber. Thank you.
Any other interests? Okay, we have no presentations. There are 4 members of the public who have registered with the General Manager's office to speak on items in the agenda. Mr Stephen Sculthorpe, Ms Steph Bacon, who will each speak on item 5.2, development application number 10.2026.50.1, lot 101 DP 108970, being 2089 Darby's Falls Road. Continued use of an outdoor recreation facility, equestrian arena and future arena lighting, lodged by S.A. McKillop. The property owner is J.S. Bacon and S.A. McKillop. We also have Mr Jason Lewis, who will speak on item 5.4, development application number 1020008.81.2, lot 510, DP 1257070, 125 North Logan Road, Cowra. Modification to continuation and expansion of extractive industry, which is extend the extraction areas and increase extraction rate. Mod 1, the Cowra Sand and Quartz Quarry, lodged by Benedict Industries Proprietary Limited. The property owner is Mullian Proprietary Limited. I will call each speaker by name and ask that you introduce yourself and allow time for any councillor or member of staff who have declared an interest in an item to manage that conflict, which may include them leaving the room for your presentation. Each speaker will have a maximum of 5 minutes. First up, I'll call Mr Stephen Sculthorpe. Mrs Sculthorpe. Before we start, Mrs Sculthorpe, Councillor Speechley, do you have any conflicts of interest?
In relation to item 5.2, the DA application for Darby's Falls Road, as a family member is a neighbour. It's non-pecuniary and I will leave the room.
Leave the room.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs Sculthorpe, if you hit that button, that red button.
Hi, I'm Mrs Sculthorpe or Suzanne, and we're also talking on behalf of John Tybosh, who couldn't make it here tonight. We are here to talk about the application of the Equestrian Centre at Lot 101 Darby's Falls Road, Darby's Falls. While there are parts of the DA that are workable, there is definitely parts that need changing. If the applicant would have gone through council to start with, it should have been built or maybe on the Pine Mount roads at the end of their property. This area would not impact anyone because there's no houses on that side at all. The one-on-one lessons we don't have a problem and the small groups for camps are fine with a bit of adjustment. Hours of work. We definitely have an issue with the applicant's hours of work, which are 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m, 7 days a week. These hours are unrealistic. Our houses are only 100 metres from the horse arena, and last time I checked, we didn't live in the industrial estate. We feel the start time at 9 to 5:30, 5 days a week is ample to do their lessons. As stated in their DA, the main operating hours are 4 to 6 p.m, so why do we need from 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m? If they wanted to do lessons at 6 a.m. and wake us up, we can't do anything to stop this. This is a major problem. We don't have camps. We don't have a problem with the camps. We feel no more than 10 people at a time working between 9:30 and 5:30 is a fair compromise. Big shows, they state, will have 50 to 100 people, is definitely unworkable with our closeness to our houses being only 100 metres away, and add a PA system to that, it definitely will be over the acceptable and legal level for noise pollution. We feel any show with more than 10 people should be held at the Cowra Showground Horse Arena, which is set up to hold large events. They can have their PA system and all the amenities there, and they won't disturb anyone. It's a win for everybody. That will solve the issues of noise pollution impacting on the residents, and with the shops down the road, Cowra people can go to Cowra and buy food or drinks. It's good for businesses as well. Having in their arena will be a constant problem for council and police with the noise pollution, the dust and traffic. But the big bonus for them is that they have as many shows as they'd like to have. Plus, being undercover is out of the sun, so it's better for riders and the animals' welfare. Transparency. There are too many words in the DA, like sometimes, not often. We need to be more specific, so there is no room for manipulation or confusion. Not often might mean once a week, but it might mean once a month. Hiring the arena out, we definitely disagree with it. Could be a pony club one week, a rodeo the next, and they will have no control over the noise and what happens there. Lighting, putting up to 12 floodlights and using them till 9:30 at night is definitely not acceptable, and we have noticed that they are already starting to put lights up. Also, there is wildlife to consider. The lighting really affects the wildlife with their natural darkness cycles. It also alters predator and prey dynamics and disrupts crucial breeding and foraging behaviours. Artificial lights can severely disrupt native wildlife by altering their nocturnal behaviours, sleep cycles and survival instinct. Native animals such as possums, gliders and microbats rely on darkness to forage and navigate. I believe a wildlife risk assessment is essential and should be carried out by an independent company. But if we agree on the work hours of 9 to 5:30, there will be no need for lights, since they state in the DA most of their work is done between 4 and 6 p.m. So why are the lights even necessary? And being approximately 20 metres from the road, it poses a risk to drivers with the bright lights in their eyes. It's an accident waiting to happen. Also, with the Derby Spring Creek running 15 minutes from the arena, an impact study needs to be done. I feel there needs to be a mechanism in place where if the DA has been breached or there is a legitimate complaint, operations at the arena will cease until council sorts it out. We have also noticed petitions placed over town about saving the arena. Most of the people who sign them don't use the arena or even know where it is. We could do the same, but it's not a true indication of what people want. It's just a gimmick. But do the people signing these know that it's not council approved and has been running shows and training over the last 12 months? Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address this council.
Thank you very much. I'd now call on Ms Steph Bacon.
Good evening. My name's Steph Bacon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Firstly, we'd like to thank council staff, particularly those involved in assessing our application, for the time and effort they've put into preparing this report. We appreciate the thorough assessment and the recommendation before the committee, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. From the beginning, our goal has been to create something that benefits not just our family, but the wider Cowra community. While this facility is one of our family's primary sources of income, it is also home to the Central West Equestrian Club, a volunteer-run, not-for-profit organisation that provides opportunities for children and adults of all ages to participate in equestrian sport and education close to home. Without facilities like this, many local families would need to travel several hours to access coaching, clinics, competitions, and training opportunities. We've invested our heart, soul, and most of our life savings into developing these facilities because we believe Cowra deserves quality sporting and recreation opportunities. Throughout this process, we've tried to be responsible landowners and respectful neighbours. We've planted more than 150 trees. We carefully manage our property, parking and erosion. We've always been willing to work with council to ensure the facility operates appropriately. This application is for a low-impact rural recreation facility that council's assessment has found to be consistent with the zoning and surrounding land uses. We appreciate that the report has carefully considered the submissions received and concluded that any impacts can be appropriately managed through conditions. We also wanted to provide one piece of industry context. We've spoken with Equestrian Australia, who advised that across more than 800 accredited coaches around Australia, they are unaware of another situation where a coach has required development approval to simply conduct coaching, clinics or small-scale equestrian activities on their own rural property. We understand every council has its own planning processes, but it reinforces that what we're doing is a normal and well-established rural activity, of which currently does already occur in the Cowra district. We'd also like to make it clear that this facility was never intended to compete with other venues in Cowra. Before establishing the Central West Equestrian Club, we thoroughly investigated existing local facilities and found that they were not purpose-built or suitable for the range of equestrian disciplines the club provides. Our aim has always been to complement what already exists by providing a purpose-built equestrian facility that enables these activities to be held safely and locally. We believe these are world-class facilities right here in Cowra, accessible to everyone. We'd also like to clarify that the 2 lights currently on the property are portable solar lighting units. They are not fixed into the ground and are not connected to mains electricity or any services and can be moved anywhere around the farm for different purposes, including sheepyard work. If it assists council, we would be more than happy to amend the proposal to utilise portable solar lighting units rather than permanent fixed lighting structures. Finally, we'd like to say how humbled we have been by the support from our community. We have received many letters of support, a petition, and encouragement from local families, individuals and businesses who value having these opportunities available in Cowra. Most of our neighbours and local Darby's Falls community are extremely supportive of what we are doing and have reached out to give us letters of support as well as collecting signatures for us. Our aim has never been to simply build an arena. It has been to create a place where people can learn, participate, compete and enjoy horses in a safe, well-managed and low-impact environment while contributing positively to our local community. This facility will not just impact the equestrian community, but Cowra as a whole, with injections into local businesses, tourism and more. We appreciate the work council staff has undertaken throughout this process, and we look forward to continuing to work collaboratively with council to ensure this facility remains something that the Cowra and Darby's Falls community can be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to call on Mr. Jason. Wait for Councillor Speechley come back in.
Sorry, am I able to ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Could I ask a question of Steph, please? Thanks. I noted in the DA the hours of operation are through to 9:30, but lights off is at 8. So I was just wondering if you could give us an explanation of why there's that variance.
Yeah, look, we were advised with council that we should put absolute worst case scenario, basically, hours. The hours are very broad for a reason. That is to at the very worst case, allow for, you know, if kids are still awake at 9:30 at a camp, I mean, it would be very limited. You know, it's just, we said 9:30 because we thought, you know, by then, hopefully kids would have gone to bed and they're not going to be out, you know, talking. It's really, you know, we're not really going to be doing anything at 9:30. It's just to allow, you know, for those very, you know, edge case scenarios, I guess. So, and the earlier times, again, only if people are arriving early on the odd day that we are, you know, hosting a clinic or a competition or something, that they need to arrive a bit before starting to set up. But again, that's very low impact, low noise, just someone kind of pulling in and tacking up their horse, for example. Yeah. Okay.
Does anybody else have any councils? Councillor Fagan?
I have a cat. You mentioned children. You've got camping facilities. Are people staying overnight?
Yeah, so we have camping facilities on the property. We invite hip campers to come and stay as our agritourism operation. But then, yeah, we occasionally host equestrian camps where we have, we've only done kids ones at the moment, but I'd like to do some adult ones in the future. I've had a bit of interest in that, but kids can stay in our tents and they have an absolute blast. Yeah, just staying with their horses and doing some fun activities during the day.
Okay, so is that near where the arenas are, the camps?
Yeah, they normally camp up around our shearing shed area. It's further back on the property.
That's a Palamo.
Yeah, La Paloma Farm. So we've got where the arenas are, and then there's the toilet block, and then behind that is a shearing shed, which is up the back there, and we normally put them in tents, or they'll camp in their horse float, for example.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Wright?
Thank you. You mentioned the Central West Equestrian Association.
Mm-hmm.
Is that separate to you,
Yes.
or do you run the Central West Equestrian Association?
Yeah,
or?
I'm involved. I'm on the committee. I'm the treasurer of the Central West Equestrian Club, but it was formed with a group of local equestrian enthusiasts, I guess, because there's really not that much opportunity, especially in show jumping and related disciplines in the area. So we got together and formed the not-for-profit club as a way to get the community involved and also get more opportunity for the area. I could have done it myself, but we looked at it all and thought that a community club would benefit more people and just make it a lot more accessible for everyone. So our aim is to encourage mainly youth, but you know, we've got the pony club as well, which I fully support and work collaboratively with them. So the idea was to have it for all ages, multidiscipline, with a focus on show jumping, so that we could bring more show jumping to the area, because the closest place that does show jumping is over 2 hours away. And so we just, you know, especially with fuel prices and things like that now, it's especially prevalent that we have, you know, accessible opportunity for people closer to Cowra. And already we've had people come, you know, with ponies in their paddock and kids that have never really competed or done anything in their life with the horses, but it's really got them excited, I'd say, and they've come out and they're, you know, using their horses for the first time and loving it and creating that community, you know, giving them a community to belong to. So it's been really encouraging so far to see how people have got involved, and we're hoping to be able to continue that. So.
You mentioned the camping. Is that a separate? You said the agro-tourism or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a separate.
Yeah.
You got a separate thing to the equestrian part.
Yeah.
Have you got any infrastructure for that camping thing, or are they just?
It's mainly we've got a tiny house and a glamping dome. So, but then in terms of the camping, people just bring their own caravans and own setups, and we've got 100 acres. So, you know, this DA is only for a certain small section of it, but the camping occurs on the other farming parts of the property.
So do the campers use the toilet block on the equestrian area, or it's separate?
It's mainly separate. They can though, I guess, if they wanted to. Yeah. Thanks.
Has anyone else got any? Councillor Downing?
One of the complaints that was mentioned was an increase in dust, and I did read that you've already done something out of the property to mitigate dust. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so there was it was a bit unfortunate when we were constructing the arenas. There was a high amount of dust. It was unforeseen. We were supposed to get sand, but it turned out to be very dusty. And so since then we've replaced it because that was not the intention for the arena. So now it's got a proper sand, which has extremely low dust levels because we couldn't stand it either. So yeah, now the arena surface is a really, really high quality sand, and it doesn't produce like any dust at all, which is fantastic. But we also, when it's not wet, like the surface isn't wet enough, which we've installed a certain surface that actually retains moisture. So we're trying to mitigate the dust in retaining the moisture in the ground. So when it does rain, we keep it locked in there so it's not dusty. And it's also better for the horses. But then we also got a watering system where we wet down the arena. So when we are grading it and preparing it for use, we wet down the arena. So it helps the surface, but it also helps to keep the dust under control. And we've put in granite roads and all sorts of things so that there'll be no like traffic dust or anything like that.
Thank you. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Could we get Councillor Speechley back in, please? Okay, I'd like to call Mr. Jason Lewis, who will speak on behalf of Benedict Quarries.
Hello, I'm Jason Lewis. I'm the newly appointed quarry manager out at the Cowra Quarry. I'm just here to introduce myself and answer any questions if I can, as I'm only new to the place. I've just recently started, so yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them, but I'm not.
Has anybody got any questions of Jason? Jason, I have. This is just an expansion of the existing quarry so that you can dig out more material and faster. Is that the?
Not really faster, but it's just to extend the life of the quarry and to get access to a bit better quality material as well. So the seam of pebble, the way it's running is where we've actually, where we want to follow the seam of pebble. We want to just continue in that direction.
Hello. Anybody else got any questions? Thank you, Jason. We'll move on with the council meeting now. You are free to stay and listen if you would like. Thank you. I'll now take a motion to confirm the minutes of the General Committee meeting held on the 9th of June 2026. Councillor Kiss, thank you. Councillor Speechley, thank you. Councillor Kiss.
Not necessary, thank you.
Councillor Speechley.
No, not needed, thanks.
Anyone else wish to comment? Right, a reply, Councillor Kiss.
No, thank you.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Pass, thank you. 3.1, from the General Manager of the Local Government General Amendment Meeting Regulations of 2026. Councillor Kiss again. And Councillor Fagan, thank you. Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, Code of Meeting Practice has been a hot topic of discussion and debate since implementation of the 2025 model. The 2025 model code has now been rescinded and the 2021 model has been restored. This amendment regulation 2026 has come into place simply because they can't put in a new model until such time as at least 4 months have lapsed. Look, the greater intent is for the 2025 model is to increase order and transparency in meetings, which is being retained with this 2026 amendment. And look, it's only going to come into play where there are inconsistencies between our 2021 model code, and the General Manager has reported that we actually don't need to have a modification of our Code of Meeting Practice because what we have will cover it, and again any inconsistencies will be identified and automatically added due to the amendment. Thank you.
Councillor Fagan.
As Councillor Kiss has articulated, thank you.
Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Watt.
Just very briefly, that it's good to see a concession here that members will be able to join remotely, as the proposal previously was to get rid of this, which was pretty out of touch with the world that we live in now. And we know councillors, it's not a full-time job, so I think we should enable as much as possible people to participate. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Wright. Did I see your hand? Sorry, I looked, your hand went up. Anybody else wish to comment? Oh, you're scratching your head. Right a reply, Councillor Kiss.
Not needed, thank you.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Passed. Thank you. 4.1, the Section 355 committee minutes plus the AGM minutes of the Australian chapter of the World Peace Bell Association. Thank you. And Councillor Watt, thank you. Councillor Downing.
Yep, we have minutes from the 5th of May 26, the 23rd of June 26, which was an AGM, and then the following general meeting on that date as well. The minutes mostly focus on ongoing planning for the annual Youth Peace Forum to be held on Thursday the 17th of September. Everyone's invited to come along and see what we do. It's a great day. We are thrilled to be working with our guest speaker, Lynn Strong, who was born in Cowra and is a former Cowra High School student. She's now recognised as a community advocate, a storyteller, and is the founder of Synergyscape Solutions. She brings a focus on empowering future generations to contribute to thriving communities, and she has created an interactive address which she spoke to us about at the June 23rd meeting over the phone, which was really interesting. She's putting a lot of preparatory work into that before she comes on the day, which is lovely. They'll invite students to explore themes around practicing peace, learning from history and leading across difference. The AGM, going back to that, was held. We're very fortunate to have 2 new members for council, so we're putting forward the committee. Courtney Prio was representing the Cowra Lions Club and Caitlin Sanford from the Japanese Gardens, and it was wonderful that they showed an interest along with our committed team of previous members. We're pleased to ask council to endorse the committee that's in the agenda. And last but not least, Ian Brown, who remains on the committee but has made the decision at nearly 90 to step down from his role as Deputy Chair. We ask that council acknowledge this huge contribution that he's given as Chair and Deputy Chair in many years, so that's also one of our recommendations as well. And just on behalf of the committee, I'd personally like to thank Ian for his support of the Peace Bell Association. His investment of time and energy has made a lasting difference, and a positive influence has been deeply appreciated, and he's touched many lives over those years. So thanks for his dedication, which continues just in a different role.
Councillor Watt.
Councillor Downing has really said it all. We've got a really fantastic committee here and it's great to see it growing. And I would just like to echo your words about Ian Brown. It's really fantastic to have a contingent of members who've been there since the beginning. And if anyone doesn't know Ian's story, they should go and watch the video that you can QR code down at the Peace Bell. It's really fantastic to see all the work that they've done, particularly serving so long as chair previously and then stepping back to deputy chair when Councillor Downing took over in 2022. We all know it takes a lot to be chair of committees for that long, and particularly to continue to push the concepts of peace in Cowra, and we're all indebted to him. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to comment? Right, a reply, Councillor Downing.
Not necessary.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. 4.2, a donation request from Cowra High School for hosting an intercultural exchange visit. Councillor Kiss. Councillor Downing. Thank you. Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's no doubt that expanding opportunities for our youth with opportunities such as this can only benefit our community into the future. This is an opportunity for our young people to grow, learn, appreciate beyond our shire borders, to mix, reflect and to respect. In general, this recommendation is proposing a donation of $1,320 towards accommodation for visiting students from the Islamic College of Sport New South Wales at our very own Caravan Park, and I'd like to thank the Caravan Park managers for providing this accommodation at a reduced rate. Greatly appreciated there. This funding is sought to be allocated from our section 356 budget allocation. Look, I think this is a fabulous opportunity for our young people, and in advance of this going through, and obviously all going according to plan, I'd like to offer a warm welcome to the students at the Islamic College of Sport to Cowra. Thank you.
Councillor Downing.
I would just like to say I agree with Councillor Kiss. It's well said. This is also supported by the Multiculturalism New South Wales. It's incredible that our Cowra High School students get to participate and then in this camp and then get them to return and come back here and see our town. And we've just been talking about youth and peace, and I think it's a great place for them to come, and I'm happy to support it.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Wright.
I've got a question first. I presume the 10 children, at least minimum of 10 children, be school children. And the 3 adults coming with them, are they school teachers or are they ministers of a certain faith? Or?
Through the chair, we haven't been advised at this time. However, they will be there for a supervision purpose.
Thank you. This is certainly a different donation that we've been asked, and it's quite obvious that the applicant has read the guidelines and said that this isn't a normal part of the school curriculum. It's something unforeseen, so therefore it fits into our donation policy. They seem to have got great benefit of the trip to Sydney or wherever with the Muslims and the Islam Lebanese community, and I think it's something that we should try and see what does come of it. I think before we go to, if anything goes to press with this, it should be clearly stated what the children and the people with them are coming here to find out, that it's not just going to be, it can't be seen as a visit by people trying to influence other people to follow their ways in life, but it's just there for other people to learn what they do and how we do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? I have had a bit of interaction with the principal, and he couldn't get over the difference in the boys after they'd been to Sydney. And I just of the opinion that Cowra town being what it is and the makeup of the town, we don't get exposed to these Muslim people, and I think it's great for our kids to be exposed to that so that they can see that they're just normal people, the same as the rest of us. Apparently that was what the boys came back home and said. They're just the same as us. So, and certainly the number of kids you hear about in Sydney, and not just kids either, plenty of adults that have never been over the mountains, have got no idea what happens out here. So I think if we can foster a little bit of this, I think there's a lot to be got from it. So, right to reply, Councillor Kiss?
Not needed, thank you.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Pass, thank you. 5.1, 2 draft planning proposals aiming to amend the Cowra Local Environmental Plan of 2012 by removing servicing restrictions and changing the minimum lot size provision for land in West Cowra and East Cowra that is currently zoned R5 large lot residential. Anyone like to move? Who did? Aaron did? No? Councillor Fagan? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Speechley. Thank you, Councillor Fagan.
Right, do we want to close the door for Councillor Kiss? Thank you. Not that I think she needs. Just that this is actually something we've been discussing for 12 months. It was part of the proposal last year that the housing strategy came up with, and one of the ideas is that these are the proposals that have come from that. They are to explain, it's quite complicated, very complicated. There's a lot of paperwork here, and we have had the opportunity a couple of times to look at it, but this is the actual rubber hits the road here. We're going to send this off to the planning department so that they can continue to change our LEP. So this is going to a gateway proposal. I hope everyone understands that. We've only just started. There's a list in here of a whole lot of other things that we have to do before this actually happens, and a lot of that comes back to consultation with our community. So this is only the first step in a long road of discussing with our community about changing the lot sizes in West Cowra, that is currently zoned R5 large lot residential, and East Cowra, that is currently zoned R5 large lot residential. It is, as I said, it's quite a complicated document. We do need to be aware that some people will miss out, some people are going to gain from this, but that's, the lottery that we live in. We also have to be aware that it may be rejected by the department. I can't see that happening and what this will do is provide large lot residential areas. They're not small, they're actually zoned R5 lot residential, but this will reduce that. They'll still be very large lots. They'll still be over an acre, 2 acres. There'll still be quite a lot of residential areas that are very large. Cowra is a very rural town. I think we really are a beautiful rural town. We have a lovely valley and we have a gorgeous environment. I think doing this is allowing people to have large lots. We're finding that, I think there's only 5 or 6 large lot residentials for land for sale at the moment, and so that's a really indicative of the fact that there's definitely a need for this. I think that it just makes a difference when we can say we've got a whole, and you only have to drive out to East Cowra and out to West Cowra, more East Cowra, and there's beautiful properties, absolutely amazing properties and lovely places for people to live, and I think this just enhances that. And so we have this opportunity for people to buy large lots in residential area, in rural areas, without losing that, without losing the rural aspect. And I think this is a really good move for us. It provides rural land in places where we already have roads, already have water, generally, already have electricity. There's no huge expense for people to subdivide their land if they want to. It's not compulsory. They don't have to do it, but it does give them the opportunity, and it does also allow lots more lots. It actually, there's it's here that it tells us that it's 700 extra lots without any effort. And I think the hard part about development, and we've found that with Yarrabili, is that we have to find some way of paying for sewerage and roads and infrastructure to get it to the lot. So, with this proposal, we will actually have all of those services already in place, and we're just infilling what is already there. The council staff have done the work at looking at how it's going to matter with the environment, all of the different ground surveys, geological surveys, and so having the only problem is we have to have sewerage on all these sites, which is one of those things that we've always said no to. But I think at this stage, where we're trying to find sewerage for West Cowra and it's going to cost a lot of money, I think it's a great idea to actually allow the houses there, and in 10, 15 years' time we'll actually have those houses there and we'll be able to provide sewerage for them, and it won't be as expensive as it is. It'll still be expensive, but it won't, at least we'll have some customers. I think the staff's done all the geological surveys, they've done everything that's required under the Act, and I think we need to send it off to the department and see what they say. Thank you.
Councillor Speechley.
I support this motion. Just to clarify, I think that the West Cowra growth area is proposed to be the 4,000 square metres, but it will initially be on a septic tank basis for sewer. And the East Cowra will be on tank water. There will be no town water service to those properties. So I just wanted to clarify that. I do support this though, because I agree with Councillor Fagan that Cowra is a region where people do want large lots. It's part of the attraction for people to move here, particularly if we're looking to attract professionals and families. So I'm supporting of this, but just wanted to clarify those two things. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to our movers. This is a bit of a difficult one for me. I think it's a difficult planning position for us as well as council, in that ideally we'd be able to continue with our West Cowra sewer project, and ideally we would provide sufficient services to all blocks that we are encouraging development in. And I think it is a really difficult decision as to whether we proceed with this or not. But we did, as a collective, support the housing strategy, and this is really an implementation of that housing strategy. And I absolutely respect the view of the Chamber as a collective, and will be supporting these planning proposals as a result of that. But I do think we have some challenges here in terms of the likelihood of grants to get to implement Cowra sewer, and we as a council need to be careful of how we're going about that. This council has been committed for a very long time to West Cowra sewer, and for about 20 years had not a lot of progress on it, but the Director of Infrastructure is working very hard in progressing that at the moment. And I do strongly believe that particularly in the West Cowra area, which is quite significantly infill in very residential areas, we should really push towards having adequate services that you would expect within a 50k zone. And for me, that is town sewerage, and I think it's the cleanest, didn't mean to make that joke, but the cleanest way to do infrastructure, because there's obviously a lot of challenges that come with each individual house managing its own sewerage. And we do also have some legacy issues where some approved DAs, particularly at the airport, we're required to set up as if the town sewerage existed and is being pumped out as a temporary solution that's been around for about 15 years, so not particularly temporary. So I think we really do need to progress that, but I strongly believe that our higher pressure is the availability of housing, and as Councillor Speechley said, the demand there is really essential in our ability to grow the town. So I'm happy to support that here. I think also very useful to see, as we've talked about a number of times here, but the updates in capacity of on-site sewerage systems, meaning that shift back to 4,000 metres squared is a lot more reasonable now than it was in the past. As well as acknowledging that for a period of time 4,000 metres squared was actually the minimum lot size in West Cowra, and there is actually a number of lots that are at that spot already. So a long way around of saying it's not perfect, but I think this gets an outcome that we're looking for. As Councillor Fagan said, it's the beginning of a long process, so don't go and start building or put in your DA just yet. But it's definitely a good step forward in terms of really opening up housing here. And we all hear often that people are lacking that availability of housing and blocks. So hopefully the planning team, not our planning team, we work very quickly, but hopefully the state planning team can get some of that rigour and move quickly as well. Thanks.
Yes, just to agree that this is the first step and our actual first physical thing we're doing that's come from our housing strategy, which we were given grant money to do last year. And I'd just like to say that it's all well and good for governments who have more money than we do, local councils, local rural councils, to give us money to do a strategy to increase housing. So that's how they're increasing housing, is by telling us to do a strategy about how to increase the housing. Now we need some support. We need some real support, some money to put in infrastructure for these plans to actually come forward. This isn't that, but that is what we need to be focusing on and advocating for our communities, for their housing targets to be met in rural and regional areas.
Comment?
Hello, mine works.
Mine does.
Yeah, I'll make a few comments. You've probably already seen the comments. I sent some questions into the director when I first read these, and I've been here too long, quite obviously. 14 years too long. I should have left when I lost the debate for the 2012-13 LEP. We had these provisions in West Cowra of a 1 acre, 4,000 square metre minimum lot size. But the then director, with correspondence from the Department of Planning and all the environmental departments, said that the West Cowra area cannot have a septic system on a block smaller than 2 hectares. And with a stroke of a pen, we changed it over there that no more blocks to be created less than 2 hectares. The existing 1 acre, 4,000 square metre block could still be built on at the time. There's a few went through pretty quick to beat the proposed changes, and good luck to them. And they could use septics. There's been some people that bought these 2 hectare lots and they wanted to put a sewer line from their block down to the existing sewer line in Waratah Lyle Street, but they were denied eligibility to do that. Although we've had a couple of developers north of the Grenfell Road, and I don't know if you call them West Cowra or not, or are they in residential? They must be in the residential area. They've created these lots, but they've had to put their own sewage connection into down near, down along Cowra Road. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is, I can see the benefit of it, but it's taken away the where should have been concentrating on getting the sewerage system into West Cowra. And one of the biggest problems we've had with that there, we employed the Department of Public Works to do planning, and all they know how to do is spend money, and unjustified the money. It went from 15 million to 45, 50 million to put this plan in now, and then we have come up and we have to have all these access corridors to put pipes through different people's yards and so forth. And we're not, I just don't know, I had to believe what we were told in 2012-13, that septics can't be used over there under 2 hectares. But now we're going to attempt to get it put there that we can use septics. And if we build these houses and the people are putting, they're not cheap, these septics, they're not the $2,500, $3,000, they're spending $14,000 and $15,000, $16,000 on a septic system. And if we do get the sewage in there, they're going to be up for another $8,000 or $10,000 to connect that, and they have to decommission the septic system. So I'm in a bit of a loss, and it looks like as a planner that come to Cowra, he was voting against the Thompson's Dairy down the Forbes Road, said that he built a fat rendering system in Kelso in residential, and industrial land and had no smell. But Thompson's Dairy, he couldn't do anything out there that would reduce the smell.
Excuse me, I've got a point of order.
And
Councillor Wright, we have a point of order.
I'd just like the councillor to go back to the subject rather than wandering off on another tangent. We're talking about the recommendation for the planning proposal.
I am talking to that, and my point is, you can get anyone to do a plan for you to give you the answer you want in regards to environmental outcomes. You know, we have a plan now that allows septic systems in 4,000 square metre lots in the West Cowra area. And I find it frustrating. I think the recommendations should have another .4, and you should go back to 40 hectare subdivisions in RU1 farmland, because we're going back to the past with this, and we haven't improved the situation, and we haven't got any closer to putting the sewerage system in. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Fagan, I'll give you a right of reply.
Thank you. I think this is a great proposal. This is something we're looking forward. We're not looking back. We have had plans in the past. We've had the LEP of 2012. We've just updated our DCP. We're continually changing our plans, continually looking forward, and continually making changes as technology also changes. And I think that this is actually a really good move for us in Cowra. We have regional land, lots of it. We have the infrastructure in place in most cases, and it is actually really important that we continue to offer our residents, our rural subdivisions, rural aspects, and by just reducing it to 4,000 square metres, we still have, it's still 7 times the 7,000 square metres that we 700 square that we actually have as a minimal lot size. So it's a large lot. It's not a small one, and I think it does give us some future, and it will attract people, and that's what we need. We need more people in Cowra. It's going to, if we attract more people, we'll have everything else that comes with it, and I think it's really important that we do this, and I congratulate the staff for the great report. Thank you.
I'll put the motion, and it's show of hands, please, councillors. All those in favour? Those against? I declare it carried. Okay, 5.2, development application number 102026.50.1, lot 101 DP 10892702089, being Darby's Falls Road, Darby's Falls, continued use of an outdoor recreation facility, being an equestrian arena, and future arena lighting lodged by S.A. McKillop. The owner is J.S. Bacon and S.A. McKillop. Councillor Kiss. Councillor Watt. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Councillor Kiss.
I would like to propose an additional recommendation, if I may.
Yeah, certainly.
I would like to propose that there be condition 4 be modified. It currently reads that the approved hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. 7 days per week. I would like to see that reworded to 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. 7 days per week, with extended hours of 6 a.m. to 9:30 being available for up to and including 8 events per year.
Thank you. Will the seconder accept that? Councillor Watt? No. Do I have a seconder for that?
No,
Councillor
I
Fagan?
would like to have a foreshadow a motion. Another motion.
Councillor
Yep.
Fagan, before we go to that,
Sure.
we don't have a seconder for Councillor Kiss's amendment to the recommendation, so that lapses. Councillor Fagan, you have a foreshadowing a motion. Yeah, well, you can put your motion,
Okay,
please.
I'd like to defer this application for further investigation into natural screening, into including condition banning camping on the actual site, and condition for reducing the hours of operation to 8 to 6 p.m, maybe restricting the number of people to 60 and the number of events per year. I would like to have that further discussed. I believe that those conditions, can I say that I think this is a great plan. I think this is, am I speaking to my motion or? Okay, great. Yep.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Wright, thank you. Now I'd ask you to speak to your, thank you, Councillor Fagan.
Thank you. I'm really reluctant to do this because I think it's a terrific opportunity for us to have an equestrian centre, because obviously these people are passionate about what they do, and I think it's a terrific opportunity. I am concerned that it is right opposite people who have moved to Darby's Falls for a rural lifestyle, and they ended up in a very business orientated space. It is a business, can't get away from that. Their people are paying to actually be there, and they're actually being taught things and educated. I think that's a bit confusing, and although they say other riding and equestrian centres haven't had to go through a DA process, once it becomes a business, and I'm not the ruler on all this, but once it becomes a business and people actually offer the public to come and pay for a service, then it is a business, and I think that that's complicated this whole issue. They obviously think that they're offering a service, and that's fantastic, but I think it has ramifications for the locals and for the people opposite. So I just feel we need to have a little bit more information. I think we need to look at this further. One of the things that I'm suggesting is that we investigate natural screening so that it actually gets screened off. And I do notice that the ablutions blocks are across the road, so that's also a bit awkward. Like everyone has to walk across the road to go to the amenities block, which is tiny. I also think that the operating hours are too long, as Councillor Kiss has said, and 100 people on a day is a lot of people. A lot of cut trucks and all those people that come for horsing events usually turn up in a big truck with a couple of horses and often on their own. So, 100 people and 50 trucks or 100 trucks or 100 utilities or, horse-drawn vehicles or whatever they have. What are they called? Horse floats and trucks, they come and they do, and they like camping. I know they love camping. And a lot of times I didn't realise they said camps. I was thinking of daytime camps where children actually came and then went, but they're talking about having camps where people stay. And the camp they have, the Paloma, what is it called? La Paloma, only has natural sort of facilities, and if 100 people turn up and they want to camp, or even 50 people want to camp, it actually does create a whole lot of new problems, I think. It's just I think we need to consider it more. I just really feel that we've got a little bit of an opportunity here just to look at it carefully. I really think these people have got a great idea and it's a great place, but I do think we have to make sure that what we put in place is able to continue to provide what we want and what they want and what our community wants. The camping is a worry because, as I said, I know horse people love camping. They turn up anywhere with a horse float on the back and camp. So I'm really concerned about that. When she said they were camping, I thought we're just banned camping from the site, but obviously there's a camping site across the road. It's only licensed for 20 people, I think, 20 guests. So if you have, you know, a whole heap of guests turn up and they end up staying on the campsite, it could create a lot more drama than we're planning. I'm just concerned. So I'd like to defer it and let's have a real discussion about it maybe another time before it comes back. I hate to do that because I know they want to get on with it, but I do think we need to have a little bit more information, a little bit more hindsight, you know, insight into this before we make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright.
Yeah, thank you. I think the more I read this and the more I was concerned about what was actually happening out there, and the use of words wasn't the best. They said the worst case scenario, we might have 100 people there or 200 people, and we can cater for 350 cars or 200 horse floats and cars. I didn't think that'd be a worst case scenario. It would be a good case because they're successful, but they've got to be able to handle it. And looks like all the details that's been submitted, they've just submitted them by themselves, as the DA shows, doesn't say who's prepared them and what the reference details were. I got lost with the camping setup, and apparently I don't know what facilities the existing camping setup's got. I know this is not part of that DA, but so we can go aside, but she said that they're going to have camps and they'll be on the arena side, but they've only got one small toilet, and I don't know if that's been built to standard for multiple, for a large use, like a commercial use. I know a lot of Airbnb and farm stay people, when they went into it, they had to update all their toilets and kitchens and so forth, have stainless steel backwashers on their splashbacks on their sinks and everything, and I just don't know what their facilities are. They're going to have they said they're going to have a disabled portable toilet. It sounded like that was going to be for the busy days, but then further on into the DA, it's going to be set there permanent and they're going to pump it out. Well, I would have thought if they're going to have a portable disabled toilet there, that if it's going to stay there, it should be plumbed into the existing septic system. And we've got to know if the septic system's capable of handling these crowds. And I have no idea why they want 6:30 to 9:30 for 7 days a week. As been said here, and the two Councillor Kiss amendment went somewhere to try and satisfy that, is that they can have 6 or 7 events a year where that might happen, but not any day of the week. There's no business in town that can run those hours 7 days a week. They've got to operate on Sunday. Generally, they're closed on Sunday or something. And I realise it is often a weekend sport and so forth. But and getting access, they said, oh, will only be 20 people there and 10 cars or something, but they've put in higher figures. Well, I would have thought that they might have to put a slip lane in at the entrance, like Bueller Machinery and so forth did out there on the highway out there. They had to put a slip lane in so people can get in and out of their business. And there's too many questions unanswered, and if they're only going to do something small and told us that, it'd be good, but they've opened up the can of worms with wanting to do something larger, and I don't take the comment that there's 800 people doing this without any DA any DA needs. I'm pretty sure if they built a shed or done something and they're having having days that would have come under some form of DA. Often it's because they ask for forgiveness for operating without a DA rather than putting one in to start with. And because the horse facility at the showground it's all built under a DA, and they've actually showed no way how any food will be handled out there, for these camps and so forth. So I support the recommendation that we defer it to get more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'd like to say straight up, I think this idea of the equestrian business is fabulous. I think it's going to be a great thing, not only for derbies, but for the wider area, for Cowra, for the local horsey people. I'm not one of them, but I can appreciate the benefits that it has. And as a whole, like in principle, I actually don't have any real concerns. The reason that I'd made that original proposal before, but again, speaking to it now, is that even though I realise the wording and the apparent intention is to only have this intensive hours on an infrequent basis, and in fact, Ms. McKell just used the words as well, very rare scenarios when she's looking at having the hours 6 to 9:30, and I respect that, and I'm not doubting her validity in what she's saying there. But what this DA is saying is that potentially there can be up to 108.5 hours every week of the year, day in, day out. That is a heck of a lot to actually just have as open slabber. So what I'm saying is that, and why I'm supporting this deferral, is that I'm actually trying to support what the applicants are saying, that yes, they will primarily work between the hours of, what was mentioned, 8 to 5? No, sorry, typically 8 to 6:30 was written in there. So definitely supportive of that, but making sure that there is some recourse for council should, for whatever reason, it become a lot more frequent than infrequent, in so much as to then disturb the lifestyle of the surrounding area and the neighbours, which is why, I pulled a figure out of the air of 8. I really don't know. I'm not a horsey person. Could be 4, could be 12, I really don't know. But it's to say, yes, I'm supporting in principle what they're doing, but let's put something in there so that council has some recourse if it does end up being intensive a lot more often than infrequently. So being that my motion didn't get up, and that's fine, I respect that, I would be supporting a deferral until such time as we can tighten up the wording, because as Councillor Wright said, there's just too much loose wording in there. All good intentions, I've got no doubt of that, but it's too flowery and not tied in enough with exactly what they're expecting with times. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few clarifications. I think we have got a little bit confused by the conversation about camping, and as articulated in the presentation here, it wasn't on the area we're looking for the DA, it was on the adjoining property. But I do support Councillor Fagan's request that we just get some clarification on how that works. I think there was a note about the screening and natural area, and it was articulated that they've brought into 150 trees to create that natural screening, and I think that was addressed through the DA around the physical, what am I trying to say? Visual impact. The conversation Councillor Fagan raised needing to cross a road to the amenities, that's not an external road, it's an internal road by the building owners, so by the owner, so I think that's not as problematic as articulated, especially because that road isn't heavily, it's not a main road, it's not the entrance that people are using to bring in their carts, so I would be less concerned about that. I also wanted to raise the car availability that Councillor Wright mentioned. I too was like, oh, we've got 350 cars and 150 horse floats, but later in the plan it articulates that the plan is to rotate the parking area in case, you know, an area gets wet and damage, that you rotate it over time. So even though you can fit 350 cars, they might only use a third of it at any given time, which I think is quite a reasonable thing for an outdoor parking like that, and lots of people coming in and out. It's quite smart if you've got the room. I also think it's pretty unreasonable for us to say that a facility doesn't operate 7 days a week. I think every recreational outdoor facility would operate 7 days a week, and most of them on weekends and at nights. And I would not support a proposed reduction in the operating hours, because there was some objectors who proposed that it essentially operates within office hours, which is a totally unrealistic that people would be able to utilise it in those hours. If anything, they're more likely to use it, from, as is articulated, from kind of 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock is a pretty regular time for kids to participate in sport, or people after work to be able to participate in. So I think it's quite unfair to suggest that we limit that there. And as asked, that kind of difference between the lights off at 8 o'clock and operations finishing at 9:30, from my read of it, it's kind of, there will be no lessons after 8 o'clock because you don't have any lights, but there may be people leaving the premises, as noted, some activity around the kind of camps of group people, which I think is reasonable. Particularly as well, I think there was a comment earlier about worst case scenario, and I think every DA we've ever got has had the operation hours in there as worst case scenario, because the point is that you say this is the reasonable time we think anything ever could happen, so that there's not a situation where you're not being clear with your neighbours or surrounding people. Every DA we see often, I think the one for Corinna had kind of like 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. or something like that, but we all know the facility's not open those hours. It's just that there may be activity happening at various times. So I think it's a bit unfair to put any particular pressure on them around that. Also noting that the sound is limited for those times. It doesn't go from 6 a.m. Sounds can only start at 8. I think I'm also not a horse person. My mum's deadly allergic to horses, but from dinner conversations with Director Hackett, I have learnt more about our horse events, and it seems like it's quite common that, you know, that kind of people come in early, they get their horses ready before the event starts, and from the small amount that I've seen, that it's pretty low impact as well. It's not hugely, you know, you're just kind of getting the horses settled, and we know they quite appreciate that quiet. But all in all, I think it's reasonable for us to ask for a deferral. I think we've just noted that we have gone back to to the medium new meeting code, so we aren't able to have an out of session conversation. But I think it would be reasonable to ask that it come back to us in August with clarification on camping in particular, for me, to give us a bit of scope in that. But I don't think that we should be in a situation where we're suggesting hours just from us kind of trying to figure it out, or suggesting a limit on the amount of events. We don't want to create unnecessary red tape where one year they have 9 events and the next year they have 7, but they have to go through a whole process to come through to us. But yeah, I think as has been articulated, this is a really fantastic development of an opportunity. I think we've seen many situations before where people have been operating and then put in applications when they found out. And we know agritourism is a developing part of planning legislation that is a little bit confusing about what needs to be done. So it's, you know, I think the applicants are doing the right thing in putting the DA in now and working through the process, and we should work with them going forward on that. I also noted there was quite a few conversations about happening at the showground, but I think that is utilised for a number of different events, and I think proposing that you hold your own business at the showground and utilise a lot of that time is probably pretty unreasonable, and I would imagine the showground wouldn't say yes. So I think there's just a bit of reality that we need to work through in some of these suggestions. But overall, I think if I have to talk this much about all of the clarifications, we clearly need a little bit more information back, and it's best that we have as much information as people feel comfortable to put it in. But overall, I feel like it's a good proposal. It's very detailed about the hours of operation and the types of elements here. I think there was a comment about there needing to be repercussions if there was a breach of DA, but that exists for all DAs that we have. If anyone breaches a DA, you can contact council, and that's just standard practice. It isn't entered into every DA individually. So, a lot to do, but I think it sounds like a really great opportunity, and it's always really awesome if we can support the development of sporting activities in the regions.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Downing.
Yeah, I'll support the deferral, although I came here tonight to vote for this, so I don't suppose it makes any difference after hearing everyone speak anyway. I just obviously think if nobody's happy with the decision, I guess we've probably found a middle ground, so we're on the track. The only concerns I had were the extended hours and also the language around those hours, although again, I have a son who has a business that's 24/7, not outdoors, but cars do come and go from that business, and it's managed through a DA. So that these things can be managed and they are workable. So if everyone's happy to get more information, I had a couple of questions. So one of the objectors mentioned that they would be contacting the Ombudsman of Local Council. Do we have anything in writing that states their opinion on our decision?
Sorry, through the chair, is that the Ombudsman's response, or are you seeking?
Yeah,
from
they
the
mentioned that they had spoken the objector. I don't know which one because they didn't have a name on them. I wanted to know, they said that they have contacted the New South Wales Ombudsman for Local Council. They've spoken to them. They can't understand why they're still operating when they don't have the DA now, and that they will be contacting them if we vote for this. So I'm asking you, do we have anything written, an opinion from the Ombudsman that would make us change our mind?
Through the chair, no, we haven't heard anything from the Ombudsman at all.
Thank you. So perhaps if they do have that written acknowledgement of an opinion, it might be handy for us to have a look at it. So which objector that was, the handwritten one. They say that you could move events to the Cowra Woodstock Showgrounds and the noise wouldn't affect anyone. Well, it would. It'd affect the people in Woodstock and it'd affect the people in the Cowra, but not them. So that I didn't take that as a justification. Obviously, there is going to be more noise if this business goes ahead, and I hope that it does. But that's the fact. The business can set up there as long as we can set perimeters that we are happy with and that we can work with and that staff can manage, then I think we should go ahead. There were also mentions, I'm sorry, but sometimes it's practical just to be honest. There was mentions of the dust, which I actually asked Steph about, and she has answered that question, and flies. I'm not sure who thought they could live rurally without dust and flies, but I'm sorry, I've just got to be honest with what I thought reading the objections. There was also objections to the hours because they just want to make money. Businesses are created to produce income. They come with expenditure and responsibility to adhere to the conditions of operation as well. So these people are trying to rectify them with staff, and I think that is all we can ask them to do. So with some clarification about the hours and the things we've talked about, I think that would be helpful. There's 14 conditions already. The hours of operation are mentioned, the amplified noise is mentioned, the lighting, the usage, inspections each step of the way are covered in the DA. It's in a zone. I don't know where you would put an equestrian arena if it wasn't in a rural development zone. I don't understand where it would go. Maybe in the middle of town like ours is. And then I just think that the applicant has taken great time to consider, like, addressing the concerns surrounding the residents, and with a lengthy and logical reply, in my opinion, and addressing concerns in great detail, like the noise levels and decibel equivalents of PA systems with mowers and chainsaws and other animals that make noise, and poo in paddocks. Like, it's just nuts. So, yeah, I think that my research shows that equestrian arenas significantly boost rural local communities, and Cowra would benefit from that, not just Cowra but Darby's Falls as well, by serving as an economic engine, enhancing local agritourism and providing a hub and social connection and inclusive participation. It does appear that there's a great deal of animosity involved between the neighbours, and it is disappointing to see that it's come to this. But after our consideration, I think it would be a positive to have a DA surrounding this development and for the rules to be set in place. So I'll be happy to get any further information that I can and hold it up till August, I presume. Is that what we said? Till August? Or are you going to do it in July?
Is there any reason why it couldn't be ready for the council meeting in July?
Not that I'm aware of. We will try our best.
Lastly, my opinion is that, like, it's been lodged since April and there's a lot of work in it, but I still think that our timeframes are there for a reason, and I think we should get on with it and finish it in July so everyone knows what's happening. That's it.
Okay, Councillor Wright, you've
question.
This would be a question. Yep.
Question to the Director of Planning. Reported in some of the correspondence that Council's been out there on numerous occasions regarding this operation. Is that correct?
Through the Chair, we have been out there, to the best of my knowledge, twice to investigate it, and one of those was also a site inspection.
Thank you. I've got a question either to the Planning Director or the Environment of Infrastructure. We've got supporting documents, as I mentioned. Do they need, like for the bathroom, do they need any plans of how the septic system works? And they also mentioned a spoon drain along the edge of the arena to drain water away. Do they need any plans as to where the water comes from and goes to?
Through the Chair, with regard to the on-site sewerage management system on-site, Council will, if this is determined as approved, look at the existing system, as we do with all systems throughout the local government area, and check that it's working in accordance with the specifications for the geotechs on the site. Any additional ones to that will probably need a modification of the Section 68 approval to operate. With regard to the spoon drain, we would be seeking information as to where the overland flow is going. To the best of my knowledge, it's just collected across the land and directed into the roadside drainage system, which for most parts is the creek next door to the property.
Okay, no matter what we had decided tonight, it still would have gone to the council meeting in a fortnight's time for finalisation. So, Councillor Fagan, I ask you for a right of reply, and including in your right of reply, could you please put your concerns so that the Director can note which things are concerning our councillors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Look, as I said in the beginning, I think this is a really great development. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I just think we need to, as everyone said, tighten up a few things to make sure that everybody's happier and there is some more cut through and some more clear directions of what we're doing. So my idea was to defer this, but maybe for further discussion prior to the next council meeting, is further discussion, investigation into some natural screening, probably on, and include maybe a condition banning camping on this site, on the site. It's okay across the road or wherever, but have some clarification on what that camping conditions are. And because camping comes with a whole lot of waste, a whole lot of noise, and a whole lot of sewerage problems. Condition for reduce the hours of operation, and I'm saying 8 till 8, but that's up for discussion, and restrict to a number of people, 60 people, or a number of events, or both, or some discussion about that. What would be? I understand that it's not easy to come up with these things. I don't think we should really have those, but there've got to be some guidelines around this. I just feel there's got to be some guidelines, and because otherwise it can get right out of hand. And I do appreciate all the effort that has been put into the DA, and I think it's a great one. And I said I don't think we should say no, definitely not no, but maybe just put some clarification around some things and some guidelines in place. Is that enough? Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, can I just clarify?
A question?
Is that all the motion that everything you've just said is the motion, or is the motion that we defer for further information?
The motion is that we defer the DA for the following reasons.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll put the motion to
Yes,
Councillor Wright.
Question, that's the mover of the deferred things, her reasons. I've got other reasons, and I did put them out there too, so I'll just send them into staff.
I'm sorry, Councillor Wright. The mover has had right of reply. The debate is closed. So we are now voting on whether we defer it or not for the reasons that she has articulated. And I'll ask people to show their hands for the deferral. Those in favour? Those against? Thank you. I declare it deferred. Okay, 5.3, Section 355 Committee Draft Minutes of the Environmental Sustainability Committee meeting held on the 18th of May, Monday the 18th of May 2026. Councillor Wright. 427, yeah. Well, seem you're a member of the committee, I thought you might. Councillor Kiss, thank you. Councillor Wright?
Yeah, just got to find the item so I know I'm talking to the right one.
Yeah, page 427.
Yeah. I'm sorry everyone out there listening to this. My computer skills aren't real good. Yeah, the meeting was held. We had a reasonable attendance. We discussed various things going forward. The bird picture competition, and also the bird hides, one on Elsie Vale Road and one out near the sewage treatment plant as part of a tourist drive area where people can go and have a look at the birds and so forth. This is held on 18th of May. God. And I'm going well. I'm sorry. I had my mind on those other DAs. The small environmental projects, we're a bit late getting the things out. We haven't had any applications yet, but the application will remain open and from any non-profit organisation or community committee that want to do a small environmental project, which can be seen on the application of what it covers. And we're working at a Weeds Awareness Month later in the spring to have a look at making people aware of what is happening, and it should be a good spring to see the weeds or the plants growing in the wrong position, because that's the definition of a weed apparently. And we talked about the tour. We had a tour of Bellevue Hill on foot, mind you, on foot. The committee members went and had a look on foot at what is happening up in Bellevue Hill and what work needs to be done there. So, thank you. And I'm glad that, in closing, I'm glad that Councillor Fagan has returned to put a bit of enthusiasm back into the committee.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Before I go to the seconder, can you clarify whether on foot you went uphill or down?
Several, yes. We went up, down, around, and yeah, no, it's quite interesting how narrow a track you can still walk on and not fall over.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Kiss, seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, it looks like the Environmental Sustainability Committee is right in there and getting involved in everything environmental, which is fabulous to see. I did want to make a note from the meeting of the 18th of May, item 4.3, it suggests public bottle and can collection baskets, and I'd just like to reassure the committee that I'd actually raised this as part of an operational plan idea back on the 30th of March, and it's now been accepted as part of our operational plan under E41C. So it's been committed to by our committee, and yeah, hopefully see it go forward. Fabulous idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Downing.
Can I say the operational plan is in full swing, because there is one at Bron Park when I was there last week. So there's one already there. I don't know about anywhere else.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Right, a reply, Councillor Wright.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for that clarification on the bottle and can collection. Yeah, it was some of the committee members have seen them in other towns, and I think it'd be a good idea. It's quite obvious that they haven't noticed one of our residents that does a daily collection of these things out of the our existing containers, collection bins, and the staff that empty the bins say that he does a fantastic job. There's just none left in that. All the rubbish that's left in there don't contain any bottles and cans. And one of our container members said it really needs, we've got to increase the cost that we get back on the deposit scheme, because he's a bit older than me, and he was getting sixpence when he used to take the bottles back to Newlings, and if you're only getting 10 cents now, it's not up to standard. He said 30 or 40 cents would be better, but I will note that he's a Scotsman.
Is that the finish of your right of reply, Councillor Wright?
Yes, you can only reply to what's been stated in the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Pass. Thank you. Item 5.4, development application number 10.2008.81.2, lot 510, DP 1257070, being 125 North Logan Road, Cowra, section 4.55 and 2. The modification to continuation and expansion of extractive industry to extend extraction areas and increase extraction rate. Mod 1. Cowra Sand and Quartz Quarry, lodged by Benedict Industries Proprietary Limited. The property owner is Mullian Proprietary Limited. Councillor Watt, thank you. Councillor Kiss, thank you. Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad I don't have to read that all out. As in the title, this is requesting a modification to an existing approved DA to continue and expand on the existing industry, and does note increased extraction rate here. It's currently looking at 3 new areas and increasing the maximum rate from 150,000 tonnes per annum to 200,000 tonnes per annum, and extended the date here, which I think is quite reasonable for us to impose, that the applicants have articulated they expect availability of product to 2059, and through negotiation we've set that as the cessation of the operations, and obviously they have capacity to extend that if they find more resources here. Notes the removal of condition 13. I had to go digging a little bit to find condition 13, but that's explicitly about what they would need to do if they were to essentially put in this modification. So makes sense that you take it out because it's added in other items. And I think most importantly, 2 elements are that there's significant assessment of the groundwater vulnerability, and that the Department of Water and Energy requested additional information prior to this going ahead and were satisfied that it was not a significant risk, so that's very useful, and that they will extend the bund to minimise views from Glen Logan Road to make sure that it's of minimal impact as available. I note the objection was raised around the existing air quality, and it's been responded that the EPA has imposed additional conditions on the applicant, particularly that they are required to nominate an air quality expert to review their air quality monitoring network and revise their air quality monitoring system to regularly monitor the air quality near their neighbours. So hopefully that's a good control if there is air quality issues, to pick them up and obviously resolve them following that. So I think this is, as I said, something that's existing, and this is an expansion on an already existing business that's quite set up in Cowra. So I would support this DA.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, thank you, Councillor Watt. Very well articulated. The only thing that's left in my notes is right down the bottom where it says, I have no hesitation in supporting this DA. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Wright?
Yeah, it's heartening to see this DA that there is still a quantity of estimated 50 years supply of aggregate in this quarry there for future to be used in the development of this great land called Australia. It's a pity that a lot of it does go to the city to be used down there exceedingly wastefully at times, where they could build bridges and roads up here with a lot of it, and new homes and so forth, rather than carting it the long distance to Sydney. But I must congratulate the company on what they're doing out there. There's 50 odd conditions, and there's 3 or 4 other conditions under certain things, and they've got to adhere by a lot of environmental restrictions, and they do that as far as we know, because people are looking at them. And this comes to us because, as he said, the direction of the vein of material that they've been mining, it's continuing on in a direction that they hadn't expected, and they have found better sources of gravel. So I wish them all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? I'll just have a quick couple of comments. Apparently that was the riverbed back in the day. That's why the pebbles are there. It's a fair way from the river now, but that's what. And the interesting thing there, 2 things of interest. The Parliament House in Canberra was built with the pebbles from that quarry back in the day, and the Australian Golf Club uses the sand from out at Benedict Quarry in Cowra because it's the best quality golf bunker sand there is. So there you go. Right, a reply, Councillor Watt.
Not required, thank you.
I'll put the motion, DA, all those in favour? Passed, thank you. 6.1 late reports in your pink folder. They are the questions that were asked of the councillors after the agenda was prepared and put out to public. Would someone like to move that we accept those late? And Councillor Fagan, Councillor Downing. Thank you, Councillor Fagan. Councillor Downing.
Can I just say that all the questions that were asked were Councillor Wright, and they were really helpful, and I enjoyed reading through them, and they had quite a lot of answers in them, so thank you for the questions.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Councillor Kiss.
I need to note that I had a question in there too. Oh, sorry. But it was very well answered. Thank you.
Thank you for that information, Councillor Kiss. Does anybody wish to comment? Right, a reply, Councillor Fagan? Put the motion. All those in favour? Pass. Thank you. Are there any urgent matters for motions without notice? Very good. We'll go to confidential matters. Items 9.1, Cowra Pistol Club, Yarrabilly. 9.2, the car park at 74 Kendall Street, Cowra. These matters are considered to be confidential under section 10A DI of the Local Government Act of 1993, that the information to be received, discussed or considered in relation to these agenda items is commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, pre-prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. Can I have a motion that we go to confidential? Councillor Fagan. Councillor Speechley. Councillor Fagan. Councillor Speechley. Anyone else wish to comment? Right, a reply, Councillor Fagan. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Pass. Thank you.